Good morning, my friends. How are you? And if you're listening to the recorded version of this, how are you? It's a Wednesday morning. It is April 9th. It's 8:45 in the morning, and I'm starting my Wednesday live streams here. I do two of them every Wednesday, in addition to recording the Outdoor Magazine radio show and recording a podcast. So this is Behind the Mic. Then I will record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. I will record this month's Killer Food Plots podcast. And then tonight at 7 o'clock, we will be back here but in my office at the house for Wednesday Night Live, the big show, Wednesday Night Live. Cliff, good morning. How are you? Always a pleasure to have you along with us. So what's going on around the state? Last time we talked on Wednesday, folks in the North Country were still reeling from the ice storm. Outdoor Conquest, how you doing, buddy? I'm so impressed with what you are doing. I did not post your pictures yet. I will, and good luck going underwater. You guys, I could just see you two guys in a boat, laughing, but talking business. Mad Jack, good morning. How are you? Hello, Bernie. Corey, I'm doing great. How are you, my friend? As Luke says, winter is back. It is. It feels like it, doesn't it? It's been a long springtime. She kind of teased us a little bit, but it's been a long time coming. I look at the forecast. Monday looks like it's going to be high 60s, but everything else is still a little bit chilly. When I walk in the morning, and I try to walk, I don't walk every morning, but I every chance I get, I'm wearing a winter coat. When I walk in the morning, I wear a hoodie with a winter coat over it and a hat and gloves. Crazy, huh? Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? I will be seeing you, or even if you guys aren't home, I'll be dropping something off for you. I think you're going to like it. I do not have to go to Menards, I found out. I have another sheet of 5/8 drywall. I thought it was gone, so I had to go over to Menards and grab a little piece to patch my project, Johnny. But no, there's another sheet, so I don't need that. But I am coming to your house this afternoon, and I will drop those off if you are not home. Joel, good morning. How are you? Happy January, he says. Indeed. It kind of feels like it. We just need it to get, I need it to get nice. First tournament, coming off the first tournament with your new team. I didn't know you had a new team. Corey, how did it go? How did it go? Don't play hard to get with me here. How'd it go? Tommy, good morning. How are you? Bernie says, I still need to get to the golf course to see if I have bad habits. Bernie, is there any reason to believe that you don't still have those bad habits that you've been playing with for years? Every year, first round, I walk up to the tee and say, I'm not going to slice. I'm not going to slice. And I do slice, just like I have for 40 years. I have not been out golfing yet myself. I'm jonesing to. But we only had a couple of days where it was nice enough, and I just haven't been out. Paul, good morning. How are you? Jordan, I did not. How long ago did you send him, Jordan? Was it recently? Was it a while ago when I saw him and I just forgot about him? Refresh an old guy's brain, would you? Corey, 113th place out of 155 boats, ended up 48th on the D. That's a darn good tournament. John Kirby, good morning, buddy. How are you? How's retirement down in the Sunshine State? I think you're down there. Aren't you full-time, John? Or are you up here once in a while? Well, I know you come up here once in a while. I got that, Corey. 113th after day one, 48 after day two. All right, Craig. I'll see you tonight, buddy, and I'll see you 2 weeks from tonight. Let me check. Is that 2 weeks from tonight or is that 3? No, 2 weeks from tonight. Wow. We will be... See, Jordan, that's the problem. If you send them to my social... Don't. If you have something you want to get to me, send me an email, please. Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I have so many people send me things through the social media messaging platforms, and I'm lucky if I see them. It's not something I check on a daily routine basis. So if you need to get something to me, please email them to me, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Randy, good morning, buddy. A few times, and you're probably looking forward to. Yeah, Randy, we'll see you and Tony at the Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack Restaurant 2 weeks from tonight. Isn't that crazy? Brad, good morning. How are you? Rich Krazan of Killer Food Plots, KillerFoodPlots.com. We are rejuvenating the Killer Food Plots podcast today. We will record our first one in a while. Haven't done one since we lost Nick Percy, the man who started Killer Food Plots. But now Rich Krazan and his wife Ellie are at the helm, and they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And I was talking to Rich and said, do you think it's time to bring that back? Because all of the original content is still out there. You can hear them all. So we're going to start adding to that content today. And I should have that podcast uploaded tomorrow, I hope. KillerFoodPlots.com, KillerFoodPlots.com. Thank you, Rich. Kevin, good morning. How are you, buddy? Paul says getting a good response from members at his club for the MUCC. Hey, Art, did you see what's there?
What?
Look at homemade cinnamon rolls.
Oh, God.
And no bake cookies from the Amish.
I see that.
Food
Trying to ruin us?
food coma for Art this morning.
Uh-huh.
All right, Art. MUCC outing. Yeah, that's well. Once we get past this Wednesday Night Live here in 2 weeks at the Lumberjack, then I can start thinking ahead to July to the golf outing. If you'd like to join us at the Lumberjack, I think there might be a couple of chairs left. 989-343-0892 for reservations if you want to be a part of the golf outing. And I personally am signing up 2 foursomes this year. So we're going to have a. My daughter and my wife are texting back and forth here. We're going to have a full field of 144. I know we will. Ed, good morning. How are you? So, Ed, listen. How are things in the North Country now? Last week when we talked here, Wednesday, things were still pretty rough. How are they now? I understand some folks still without power. Is that the case? So, Ed, please give us a report from Northern Michigan, if you would. Dave, good morning. How are you? Hello, Mike. Welcome back to Michigan. Did you bring the cold weather with you? Jordan says, sure, it won't be till Friday night out the door on the way to the NRC meeting. Gotcha, Jordan. No problem. The NRC meeting is today, is it? I thought it was tomorrow. One of the things they're looking at is the year-round coyote season. Becky Humphreys is a new member, the newest member of the NRC. I think Becky's going to do a great job. I knew Becky when she was a wildlife biologist over at St. Charles. I've known her forever. She worked her way through the ranks at the DNR. She became chief, if I remember right. Moved on to National Wild Turkey Federation, someplace like that. And now she's coming back as an NRC member. You know, we gripe about the fact that our NRC commissioners, our Natural Resource Commission commissioners, maybe don't know what's going on in some cases. Well, Becky's going to. She's a pretty hands-on person. Jim says it's 32 this morning in Tennessee. It's crazy, isn't it? Hello, TJ. Good morning. How are you? Visited the Ark in Kentucky. What a wonderful experience. Highly recommend it. Everybody I've ever talked to, Mike, who went to the Ark said it was just beautiful. Bruce, good morning. Hey, Dave. How are you? Captain Dave Engel from Best Chance Charter Fishing in the water. Going to try it in the morning. Word has it, fishing's been good out of Saugatuck. This man right here, Captain Dave Engel of Best Chance, is one of the premier charter captains on the Great Lakes. The man's been doing it forever. He has built a family dynasty out of that southwest corner of the state. His son Hunter is a captain. His daughter-in-law Holly is a captain. I think his daughter-in-law is the vice chairman of the Michigan Charter Boat Association. Dave routinely does very, very well in his tournaments. Dave, thanks for checking in with us this morning, and you and I should talk on the radio show soon, maybe, huh? All right, Dave, good luck to you, buddy. Best Chance, I think it's Best Chance 2. I'm trying to think of the website. It's either Best Chance Fishing, Best Chance Charter Fishing, Best Chance 2. You'll find him. Do a search for Best Chance Fishing Dave Engel. You'll find him. Gonna be a rough week. Hey, Chris, good morning. Chris, you usually don't check in on Wednesday mornings from Kansas. How are things? Leroy checking in from Florida. Jay Wadersky, how are you, Jay? Good morning, buddy. Trying to get your comment up here. Jay says, we will see you at Wednesday Night Live. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it, Jay. On the second day, the Sunday of the MUCC convention, we shared a table with Jay. Didn't my wife Denise and I shared a table with Jay. Jay is now not now. He's the president of the Black Lake chapter of Sturgeon for Tomorrow. So the guy's got a lot of things on his plate. Plus, he's a pretty good golfer. And from what I can see, he's pretty lucky as far as winning stuff, fundraising stuff after an event. Now, how much money he spent to win those, I don't know. Bruce, good morning. Paul says, still no power at your house. Where are you, Paul? Remind me. Where are you? Hey, Mike, will you be with Jay at the Wednesday Night Live? Alice says she's listening. John says, at least it's a non-political pick. I agree. I think so. Oh, gotcha. Jordan says it is tomorrow, but he's leaving. I go the day before, so I don't have to. I gotcha, because Jordan is a Youper. TJ says it is tomorrow. Good morning, Foster. How have you been, buddy? Haven't seen you for a while. Oh, my goodness. Emil Rousseau of the Forward Corporation. Which one are you having, the no bake or a cinnamon roll?
No bake.
But you will have a cinnamon roll.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Amo says it's snowing in West Branch. Please make nice with Mother Nature because she's not happy. 989-343-0892 for reservations. Amo, I did not reach out. Well, I have reached out to Cody, but not. Amo, can you text me Cody's number? I really would love to see him there at Wednesday Night Live in 2 weeks. Corey says the next MWT tournament is May 3rd and 4th on Lake Erie. Lake Erie in May. Will that... how will the fishing be there in May? Will it still be outstanding, typical Lake Erie world-class walleye fishing? Jerry says the cold weather will get rid of the mosquitoes. Can you believe turkey season starts next Saturday? I cannot. Corey says the conditions and weather were absolutely horrible on the D last weekend for the first tournament. Cold, rainy, and windy. Chris, very nice there, checking on the turkeys, see if they want to play. Paul says near Alpena. Gotcha. Okay, Ed. Yes, still lots of folks with no power and lots of crews working to get it back online. Drove across northern Michigan yesterday. The damage to the trees is crazy. Shout out to Nick Grillo and Michigan Brand Meats for donating to the lineman effort, the lineman relief effort the station is doing. So what Ed is talking about, and Ed is with Ed. The station clusters WZTK and Alpena. And the folks there at the station says that they didn't say this. They're trying to help out the crews, the power crews, the linemen and women who are up there in that part of the state. And Ed Bolanowski reached out to Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand and said, Nick, can you donate any products for these crews? And Ed says, we'll make sure we get them in their hands. And Nick Grillo and Michigan Brand did donate some of their products to those work crews. So thank you, Ed, for reminding me. And Nick Grillo, it's just another example of Nick Grillo, the generosity of Nick Grillo and Michigan Brand Meats in general. Nick will be with us at the Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack in 2 weeks, by the way. Mike, don't think you'll be able to make this one. I'm sorry to hear that, but I certainly understand. Dan, good morning. How are you? Mike Smith, offshore account. Morning, Mike. Beautiful day down here on Lake Erie. James said you guys had some that white stuff on the ground back home. It's crappy here. It's crappy. Absolutely crappy. Good fishing to you, Mike. All right, Corey. Hey, Lance Valentine. Sir Lancelot of the Walleye Zone. I had to think. Did you see how fast my old brain calculated that? Lance Valentine. Teaching fishing. No. Walleye 101. No. Walleye Zone. Yes. And I did that in a fraction of a second. Yeah, see? My incident last fall had no effect on me. Josh Mapes, Coyote Killing King. How you doing, buddy? Hello, Jarrett. I do not recognize your name. Thank you for joining us. Skeeter Beckman, I do know your name, buddy. Skeeter Beckman of Brenton Firearms, Brenton USA Firearms. I have a Brenton 350 Legend that I absolutely love. How are things at Brenton, Skeeter? Rocky, you know I love your name. Good morning. How are you? Bill Hoffman, ever killed a turkey in the snow? Bill Hoffman, thank you. Michigan's most interesting man, the most interesting man in Michigan, the guy who actually wrote the Mike Avery, the Ballad of Mike Avery. And I thought it was the first one he wrote, and I found out it wasn't. Kind of broke my heart. Have I ever killed a turkey in the snow? I've killed a turkey when it was snowing, Bill, but I don't think I have with snow on the ground. How about you, Mr. Hoffman? Justin, good morning. Hunter Joe, NRC meeting tomorrow with changes on the agenda. Now, Hunter Joe, help me out. The one potential change I am most aware of is the discussion of the year-round coyote hunting, to bring coyote hunting back year-round. What else is on the agenda? Is the discussion about letting the youth hunters take antlered bucks, is that also on the discussion? Paul, did you see on the news they claim to have brought back from extinction 2 firewolves? No, I didn't. I don't even know what the hell 2 firewolves are, but I can tell you this, if it was on the news, I am extraordinarily skeptical. I spent 11 years in TV news, okay? I know how it works. I've seen behind the scenes. You ever watch the movie The Wizard of Oz, okay? The Wizard of Oz, and they pull back the curtain, and there's the wizard. That's kind of what TV news is. There are so many stories I want to tell, but I won't. But I'll just tell you, I got sent on assignments that I knew were junk and told the powers that be they were junk. And they said, we know they're junk, but we need the fill. Go do them anyway.
Wow. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but wow.
Yeah. My wife Denise made homemade cinnamon rolls, like homemade bread. She made them all. And then I was at the Amish store by Claire, and I stopped and got some Amish-made no-bake cookies. So if the guys in the station here are walking around with big smiles on their faces or food comas, it's my fault. Bernie says, "Thank you, Bernie. I don't feel like I went through anything at all. It's a bad memory. Every once in a while, I kind of flash back to it, and I'm still having some weird dreams. But I think that's about it. John, good morning, buddy. See if your cabin's still standing. Prayers to the people who are dealing with this. Day 11 of no power. That would be terrible. Thank you, John. Mike, any changes on baiting this season? Dire wolves. Well, dire wolves, I do know what those are. Weren't they on that? What's the show that had the dragons and stuff? Yes. Weren't there dire wolves on Game of Thrones? Yeah. Oh, well, see, they brought back dire wolves. Guess what? If they brought back dire wolves, there's also a woolly mammoth next to my truck when I get out of the station, right?
They kind of did, though.
They did?
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Where, John?
I don't remember where, but it was like
I don't.
with other DNA.
I don't even believe it. I'm not even going to bite. I'm not even going to go for it. Question about baiting, changes to baiting this season. No, there will be no changes to baiting this season. Two legislators have proposed a bait license.
Not AI generated, like real.
DNR is, I'm not buying into it, Charlie. Are you?
If Jonathan says so.
I respect John, and I trust John, but I don't know. Dire Wolves are right up there with the Koi Wolves. May 1st fishing rule change. Help me out on that one. Liberty Hunt is in the mixed mix. Harry Smith, how you been, buddy? Rapid River Knife Works. Chris Durson. And here we go. Boom, Rapid River Knife. RapidRiverKnifeWorks.com. Use the promo code Avery15. Charlie, put it in the microwave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Put it in the microwave. All right, my friends, there are so many more things here I could talk about. But Jonathan says I have to go to work. And by work, I mean this. This isn't really work, is it? But you know what? I like it. That's why I'm never going to retire, honestly. It's not physically hard as long as my mind is still working. And as long as you are interested and you continue to listen to the radio show, the podcast, and follow me on social media, I'm not going anywhere. Unless, of course, God has other plans, which, hey, how do you make God laugh? You tell him your plans, right? I get that. All right, my friends, listen, some of these topics are very good topics. Let's continue this conversation tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. In the meantime, you have a wonderful day, and feel free to stick around if you want to watch as I record this first segment of this week's show. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across this great state of Michigan. How are you this week? What have you been up to since we last talked? Have you done anything fun? Or have you just been working? Are you in one of those parts of the northern lower where you're still just dealing with the effects, the impact of Mother Nature? I pray that by the time this show hits the air this weekend, that everybody's power's back on. But as I'm in the studio right now, midweek, that's not the case. So my thoughts and prayers are with you. The weather this spring, can you really even call it spring? A lot of people commenting here on a live stream I was doing here from the studio about how it feels like December or January. Yeah, as I look at the forecast, there is a little bit of a warming trend. There is one day coming up early next week that actually looks pretty nice. But boy, we're earning it this year, aren't we? By it, I mean nicer weather, springtime. Was it just last spring that by this time of year it felt like June? I think it was. I think it was just last year. Isn't it interesting how I talked about this last week as well, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so fascinated by this outdoor lifestyle is that we don't have the ultimate control. We don't have the ultimate say. We don't, in today's digital, technologically astute world, as I'm sitting here in the radio studio, I press a button or I move my finger and my screens come to life or, immediate gratification. And it almost always works. So that kind of spoils that warps my frame of mind. I get used to doing something, getting an immediate response, having it be a positive response, positive reaction. And it's completely opposite when I go out hunting or fishing. I'm no longer in control. The weather is in control. The critters are in control. The fish are in control. And I think that's why I find that challenge so addicting. Now, I will be challenged next weekend already. I still can't get over the fact that turkey season starts next weekend. Next Saturday, my season. ZZ. It's what, April 19th to June 7th? That's a long, long time to take a bird, isn't it? It goes right through the mosquito season, as I call it, the May season, into June. I don't plan on turkey hunting that long. I will be out next weekend with my grandson, Trent. Trent's a hardcore hunter, but he's never been turkey hunting. My goal this season is to get him a bird. If I get him a bird, it's a successful season. You know what? No. Let me rephrase that. If I get out turkey hunting with my grandson, Trent, my 23-year-old grandson, who has expressed an interest to go turkey hunting with me, and we share that experience and don't even take a bird, it's still a success. Let's not, Avery, let's not get too hung up on harvesting something to make the experience valid. That's not what it comes down to, is it? That's just a bonus. If we catch a limit of fish, or if we shoot a bird, or we shoot a deer, we shoot a bear, that's a bonus. The bear meat we've been eating, the venison we've been eating, that's just a bonus. But it's the experience that is the experience. So just being out there with my grandson, Trent, that'll be my reward. And hopefully, he finds that somewhat rewarding as well. When I think back to my turkey hunting, I can't call it a career. I don't do it professionally. My turkey hunting passions. I haven't been turkey hunting all my life. We didn't have birds when I was a kid coming up on the west side of the state. I'm trying to think when my first turkey season was. I still had the TV show. I took my first bird with a shotgun. I think I took my first couple of birds with a shotgun. And then I thought, these birds, the way I hunt them, are right in front of you. They're coming into a decoy. They'd be a perfect target for a bow. So I started hunting them with my compound, took several birds with a compound, and that's kind of a challenge. Because your range is limited, you got one shot, you got more movement. Now keep in mind, though, when I turkey hunt, I don't do it the way some folks do, the old typical run and gun turkey hunting, where you're out there with a shotgun, no blind, you call to a bird, you hear a bird, you move into a position where you can intercept that bird or call them in. You don't use a decoy for the most part. You're just sneaking through the woods and doing a run and gun and trying to call them in. That is one style of hunting. My preferred method of turkey hunting, or the one that I routinely use, and I do this because for so many years I had the TV show, and a lot of these were alone. I was out turkey hunting alone, and it just was a lot easier to sit in a blind with a video camera, a TV camera in the blind there with me, trained on the decoys, with some decoys in front of me, and just call. And it's more like deer hunting, except that you're talking to the birds, hopefully. So using that method of hunting, it really worked out well for a bow. Well, after I'd been doing that for several years, I thought, you know what? I want to up this level of difficulty and increase the challenge. And I switched over to a recurve. And I hunted with a recurve this season that I'm talking about. It's been, 10 years or so now, 10 years ago. I mean, I was hardcore. I was out there every day of the 10, 11, 12-day season, whatever it was. Every day with that recurve. I had so many close encounters. I missed a couple of birds. I had a couple of long birds come in right in my lap, and I missed them. Of course, I didn't get a second shot. It got to the point where at the end of the season, I was willing to shoot a jake. I called in a flock of jakes, and I missed the jake. So I got to the last day of the season. Now, honestly, I had been hunting every day of this season, every morning and often almost every afternoon. I was hunting on the same property. I was playing cat and mouse with them. It's a big piece of property, though, so I don't think I was burning them out, but I might have been educating them. Last night of the hunt, I'm sitting out there in a new spot, kind of on the edge of a swale or a little swamp. I hear some birds gobbling. I talk back to them, get a response, and I think, okay, well, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen tonight, right? I ended up calling this flock in, and there was a ton of birds in it. I think there was 4 or 5 longbeards and probably 20 hens. And finally, I had the right bird give me the right shot, and I center punched him with a recurve. Now, it turns out that my camera was actually pointing at the wrong bird because there was 2 birds that came in. I put my camera on one of them, thought I was shooting that one, and I shot the other one, but I was still pretty proud of it. That's the only one I ever took with a recurve. And then I went back to a crossbow just because I wasn't spending the amount of time shooting a recurve that you need to be proficient. You know, I hear people talk with reverence about a recurve, and I do as well. You know, traditional archers. But traditional archers owe it to the game they are pursuing to be proficient with that tool. It could be any tool, but in this case, we'll say a recurve or a longbow. Yes, it's cool to hunt with traditional archery tackle, but if you're no good with it, I don't think it's so cool anymore, right? I used to know a guy who had a pretty big name in the outdoor world, the outdoor world, and he shot a recurve, and he couldn't hit a 55-gallon drum, but he was out there with a recurve. Well, I didn't want to be that guy. So anyway, I digress. So I went to a crossbow, and that's the way I've been hunting turkeys for the last several years. And I like it. And I get grief every year from people saying, oh, well, you shot that bird with your cross gun. Oh, I just wish I was as cool and smart as these detractors who are online who challenge everything you do but never go out and do it themselves. If we are to maintain this lifestyle, we need to get along. Maybe not even get along, but not publicly challenge each other and chastise each other. Now, I'm not talking about like that charter captain in Florida who took so much public ridicule and shame because he attacked that kid. Do a search on YouTube for Florida charter captain attacks young angler, and you'll see what I mean. Now, that guy deserves everything he got, no doubt about it. Hey, coming up on this week's show, Brian Darland of Jay's Sporting Goods. He's the buyer for the fishing department of Jay's and also an avid expert angler. Talks about a variety of springtime fishing opportunities, plus the cool new gear that's on the shelves at Jay's. In hour number 2, Captain Pete Passalis of Hook One Charters in Marine City talks about trolling for silver fish on the St. Clair River, primarily Atlantics. Then Kevin Fraley of the DNR, he's been around the outdoor scene forever, talks about education. Part of that department's goal is to educate people. And then in hour number 3, noted outdoor writer and newest inductee into the Michigan Outdoor Hall of Fame, Richard P. Smith. All that, plus Wild Game Chef Dixie, Dave Miner, and more. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. All right, my friends. Tyler, good morning, buddy. How are you? Justin. Yes, Dustin. Justin will get you on a bird this morning. There's no doubt about it. Jerry, good morning. How are you? Hello, Mickey. Well, Bill, I tell you what. How am I supposed to retire be the next host if you never retire? If we can come up with a price and I can sell the show to you, I would consider it. But it's going to be a big number. But let's talk. Randy, I stop a lot at Colinville for baked goods on the way to the property. The sub sandwiches are awesome. Randy, you are so right. Those sub sandwiches at Yoder's Country Market are outstanding. For $7, they're just wonderful. Jay Widerski says the company, John, was based in Dallas. They altered the DNA of gray wolves. Yep. I think you're both lying to me, Jay. Paul says, look at Channel 7 Detroit News, should be online. I'm going to pass, Paul. You know, it sounds like it is indeed true. Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, it has to be true because I just found out the WSGW morning team actually confirmed it yesterday morning. So I know not of which I speak. All right, my friends, have a great day. I hope you can join me again tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. In the meantime, have a wonderful day.